Tom O'Neill with Dave Karger of Entertainment Weekly, and we're looking at the Best Actor race at the Oscars. You are going in your first position with Mickey Rourke. Why?
Well, I just feel like that's a very surprising performance, a very moving performance. He is a great story as well, and it's just fascinating to watch him. I mean, I remember in Toronto, I thought, oh, do I really want to see this movie? I didn't really know what to expect, and within the first 5 minutes, I was so in. Now, having said that, I also know that you and Pete Hammond, your theory is, can Mickey Rourke play with the Academy, and can he campaign right?
He's not a very likable guy.
Well, and I think that he needs to be on good behavior.
Right.
I hate that has an effect, but it does. And, just even at the Gotham Awards, he was kind of a loose cannon, and I thought, oh gosh, if this is how he acts for the next 3 months, well then it might not be a win for him.
But Sean Penn, who I think is out front, is acting just as arrogant and coming up with some boneheaded comments too, so
I know,
that might cancel each other out there.
I know, and guess who benefits that way? Clint Eastwood. And I know people are very split on Gran Torino, but it's a terrific performance that he gives. And Warner Brothers is going to really play up the fact that he has 2 Best Picture wins and 2 Best Director wins, but has never won for acting.
But no director who's won an Oscar for directing has ever won for acting, and we have a lot of actors in that mix, from Robert Redford to Kevin Costner to Mel Gibson and on and on. So why is this the exception?
Because he's 78 years old. And he's Clint Eastwood.
Clint. Okay, right.
And I've always used the phrase when I talk about the Oscars, the cult of Clint. And I really do feel like there is such an affection for him amongst the Academy, and rightly so. He's a really great, interesting guy. And yes, if the 2 bad boys end up,
slugging each other out,
ruining it for themselves, then he sneaks right in.
I think Sean Penn's ahead for this reason. I think he's got the highest cool factor. I think that Clint has it too, of course, but I think what goes against him is that his character is just unlikable. Now, that didn't stop Carol O'Connor from winning as Archie Bunker at the Emmys. He was certainly swept those, but I still think this is all about hugs.
How about Daniel Day-Lewis for There Will Be Blood?
I know. We had 3 of the 4 performances last year were villain roles that won, and we rarely see that. So that's why you could be right here. But I think Sean Penn has the cool thing. There's the Proposition 8 thing. If Best Picture goes to Ben Button or to Slumdog, where do you put the Milk vote?
Original screenplay.
Okay.
But I also feel like Sean Penn does have an Oscar very recently in this category, and he's terrific in Milk, but I do think that they're going to want to spread the wealth a little bit.
You may be right there. Where I also agree with you is that Brad Pitt has a strong chance of getting in here. Now, this is a very understated role, but we have another understated role that is jockeying to get into this race, too, and that's Richard Jenkins in The Visitor.
I love him.
I do, too, but it's a very subdued performance.
I know.
It's very, very quiet, just like Brad is in Ben Button. But I think that where Brad trumps Jenkins is that he does have the flamboyant performance in terms of aging and the makeup, and that's where we see a dramatic change.
And Brad Pitt is in the movie that we both agree will get the most nominations, and the Academy likes to double up and give a Best Actor nomination to the movie, one of the movies that also gets a Best Picture nomination. And I think that he'll be helped by general affection for Benjamin Button.
Could he win? We know that very often they give away that Best Actor award or actress with Best Picture, and if you're right about Ben Button, does that mean Brad goes along for the ride?
I don't think so. I think there's too much technology in that performance to win. I think people will really, when they're sitting with their ballots, if he gets in as a nominee, I think people will sit there and think, wait a second, that was his head on some other person's body. No. But he is great.
Leo DiCaprio's not on your list.
I wish he were.
Why isn't he?
I have to say, if I had to pick a favorite movie this year, it probably would be Revolutionary Road. I'm not as enthusiastic about it as I was about Michael Clayton last year, which I just love and I still want to talk about. But I feel like a lot of people are going to watch that movie and just say it's about miserable people being miserable. And I love depressing movies because I think I'm a relatively happy guy, but I think a lot of people who don't like depressing movies are really going to turn against this movie, and it makes me sad because I think it's excellent.
But yet he puts Kate Winslet for Revolutionary Road in his front position for Best Actress, which we will talk about next.